We're in America in 1952. Richard Nixon, a 39-year-old former two-term congressman, incumbent senator from California, and Dwight D. Eisenhower's nominee for Vice President of the United States, is in trouble. It's September 1952, and just weeks before the election, Nixon faces accusations of using a secret political fund for personal expenses. Though he insists the fund was legal and used solely for political purposes, the story has captured the public's attention. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Nixon can't clear his name, his political career might be over. The pressure is mounting. His team is frantic. The media is relentless. Eisenhower's camp is uncertain. Will they keep Nixon on the ticket or cut ties with him to save the campaign? But Nixon has a plan. He will go on live television to explain the fund, lay bare his financial situation, and appeal directly to the American people. This approach is unprecedented. No politician had ever done anything quite like it. Over 60 million people watch on TV or listen on the radio as Nixon speaks from a small studio in Los Angeles. Nixon opens with a firm denial of wrongdoing.
Not 1 cent of the $18,000 or any other money of that type ever went to me for my personal use. Every penny of it was used to pay for political expenses that I did not think should be charged to the taxpayers of the United States.
In painstaking detail, he lays out the modest reality of his family's life, his salary, their mortgage, their debt, their car, and even the cost of Pat Nixon's good Republican cloth coat.
First of all, we've got a house in Washington, which cost $41,000 and in which we owe $20,000. We have a house in Whittier, California, which cost $13,000 and on which we owe $3,000. My folks are living there at the present time. I have just $4,000 in life insurance, plus my GI policy, which I've never been able to convert and which will run out in 2 years. I have no life insurance whatever on Pat. I have no life insurance on our 2 youngsters, Tricia and Julie. I own a 1950 Oldsmobile car. We have our furniture. We have no stocks and bonds of any type. We have no interest of any kind, direct or indirect, in any business. Now, that's what we have. What do we owe? Well, in addition to the mortgage, the $20,000 mortgage on the house in Washington, the $10,000 one on the house in Whittier, I owe $4,500 to the Riggs Bank in Washington, D.C., with interest of 4.5%. I owe $3,500 to my parents, and the interest on that loan, which I pay regularly because it's the part of the savings they made through the years they were working so hard, I pay regularly 4% interest. And then I have a $500 loan, which I have on my life insurance. Well, that's about it. That's what we have, and that's what we owe. It isn't very much, but Pat and I have the satisfaction that every dime that we've got is honestly ours.
It's a striking moment. Here is a man bearing it all, showing that he and his family live not extravagantly, but like millions of other Americans. To truly demonstrate his point, Nixon brings up an important member of the family, their Cocker Spaniel, Checkers. The family had received the dog as a gift, and Nixon firmly states that no matter what, they're going to keep him.
One other thing I probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me too. We did get something, a gift, after the election. A man down in Texas heard Pat on the radio mention the fact that our 2 youngsters would like to have a dog. And believe it or not, the day before we left on this campaign trip, we got a message from the Union Station in Baltimore saying they had a package for us. We went down to get it. You know what it was? It was a little Cocker Spaniel dog in a crate that he'd sent all the way from Texas. Black and white, spotted. And our little girl, Tricia, the 6-year-old, named Checkers. And you know, the kids, like all kids, love the dog. And I just want to say this right now, that regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it.
The mention of Checkers adds a personal touch that resonates deeply with viewers. Nixon's speech connects with millions of Americans who see him as relatable and sincere. He speaks directly to their values and their financial struggles, portraying himself as a man of the people rather than a political elite. Nixon, the embattled politician, is now a father fighting for his family. His willingness to share every detail of his finances, unprecedented at the time, not only defangs the accusations against him, but also earns the trust of everyday citizens. By the end of the 30-minute broadcast, Nixon defines himself on a national scale as someone who shares the struggles and values of the average American. His transparency and directness are powerful tools in reframing the narrative around him, and the response is overwhelming. Thousands of telegrams pour into Republican headquarters, overwhelmingly supporting Nixon and urging him to remain on the ticket. Though the speech wasn't scripted, Nixon delivered it from memory, guided by major points he'd prepared. It was a defining moment in his career, and in the end, it works. Eisenhower decides to keep Nixon on the ticket.
So far as I am concerned, he is not only completely vindicated, I feel that he acted as a man of courage and of honor, and so far as I am concerned, stands higher than ever before.
The scandal that threatened to end his career is behind him. Nixon's gamble has paid off. The Checkers speech, as it came to be known, solidified Nixon's place on the Republican ticket and became a pivotal moment in the relationship between politicians, media, and the American people. The Checkers speech was more than just a defense. It was a lesson in how to use media and how to turn a crisis into an opportunity.